In today's video, we're going to be looking at some of Ramattra's abilities and how they play against other heroes. So one of the first abilities we have is the Void Accelerator, which, as you can see right here, will do a bunch of damage to the bot. I think it's about 9 damage per headshot, and it will be about 4 damage to the body. So as you can see, definitely worth going for the headshot in comparison to the body shots, but definitely does a good amount of damage, and in my opinion, just a fun ability. It is a projectile, so you want to make sure you lead with it a bit at range. It does a lot of damage. The next thing we're going to look at very quickly here is when you go into Nemesis form, you are able to punch and do damage at about 60 damage per punch. It has a range of 10 meters. So if you look right here, you can see this is 10 meters to the bots. So when I go into shift, Pummel's range seems to be about 11 meters in comparison. I got it. It can be a really fun ability, and it does go through shields, the damage of Pummel, that is, and does damage to heroes behind it, as we saw kind of in the video. Next, we have Vortex, which we're going to be doing a lot of tests with Vortex. Vortex does 45 damage to anybody in it, and on top of that, it will kind of slow them and make it harder for heroes with mobility to get out of there. In a lot of the video, we'll be kind of going over what that does to heroes' mobility and all that. There's going to be a lot of heroes we look at with that. So it's really, really cool, a really, really fun ability, and can do quite a bit of AoE damage if you get a lot in it, especially with the 45 damage per hero it would do. One thing I also want to show is how quickly you can go into Nemesis form. It's pretty much instant. You have a slight timer there, and you can immediately turn back to Omnic form. This allows for you to shift forms pretty quickly, but allows you to kind of stay going into the fight in comparison to having to wait an extra second for everything to kind of go into Nemesis form. This is a really cool way to get back and forth between Omnic form and Nemesis form. There's a cooldown in between, but it allows you to get in there, be aggressive, and then switch back to the other form if you want to do a bunch of damage and be aggressive. Then we have the ultimate Annihilation. So the way Annihilation works is it lasts for 3 seconds. It has an AoE that you can see. If you look around here, you're able to see that. When you're out of range from any hero, the timer goes down. But when you go back into the hero, the timer will stay at what it was before, so 2 seconds now. Initially, it's at 3. And as long as you have people in your ultimate, it will continuously do damage. Now, you can run out of this LOS if you're the enemy. So as you can see here in Tracer, we have the AoE of that. And you can see as I'm running here, there'll be AoE there. It's a ultimate that does pretty good damage. And on top of that, when you're in your ultimate, you can actually, in Nemesis form, the whole time. So one thing with the block is that the whole time in Nemesis form, you can block with no cooldown on that. Now, in Nemesis form, it lasts for 8 seconds, but in your ultimate, it lasts the whole time that your ultimate lasts. So the whole time you can actually take that damage reduction. Now, there is a spot where they can shoot you for all of that damage reduction. So basically, you have 80% damage reduction, and then if they are able to shoot at you from behind or from the side, kind of, then they'll do full damage on you, and we kind of will look at some of that, too, with the block. When you go into Annihilation, you're actually able to cancel the ultimate if you want to. So I don't see me doing that too often, but if for some reason you pop a bad ultimate, or you are able to get the limbs and want to continue to go back into Omnic form and start building your ult again, you actually can cancel the ultimate by hitting shift again, or whatever your keybind is, or going into Omnic form or Nemesis form. Ramattra has a shield that has a pretty long range and will last for 4 seconds and has 1,000 HP. It's a good shield. Is able to prevent some damage and allows you to get a little bit aggressive. You can push up aggressively with it. Allows you to push up. Can also help get rid of some of the sight lines for sniper heroes, and overall give you the opportunity to be more aggressive.
You are safe with me.
One of the things we're going to test right now is looking at Vortex. I decided, why don't we test it on all the heroes with mobility and see what happens. So we're going to start off and show you what it looks like when D.Va flies through it. Here we go. Throwing Vortex, and that is what happens. As you can see, D.Va goes absolutely nowhere when trying to fly out of it, trying to be in it. So this is what happens when we use D.Va Vortex.
Devour them.
As you can see, D.Va flies very slowly in there, which makes it really easy to be able to get D.Va. A really, really cool interaction. We're going to see if D.Va can eat the Vortex.
Put them in the crowd.
Yes. So D.Va can eat Vortex. Now we're going to test to see what happens with the interaction with D.Va ult.
Devour them.
This.
So as you can see, it does slow down the D.Va Bomb. So when the D.Va Bomb goes flying by, it slows it down. It does pick up speed after, but inside of the ult, which actually makes me wonder if you fly the ult outside of it, basically if you're like all the way over there and then you fly into the if the ult goes through it as it's traveling, will it slow down? Here we go. Let's find out.
Put them in the ground.
It does slow it down, which it might go in favor of D.Va if that does that, but it does slow it down.
Back in action.
And here we go. One more interaction with D.Va ult, starting now.
This.
So if you shoot the D.Va ult straight up, in the Vortex, it won't go anywhere. It just stays in place on the ground there, which actually isn't too bad. The next interaction we're going to be looking at is what happens when Doomfist punches out of the Vortex.
Put them in the ground.
It actually looks like Doomfist is able to punch out of it pretty easily. I thought it might slow Doomfist down a little bit, but now I'm curious to see what happens when Doomfist punches through it to see the speed of that.
Devour them.
Is it me or does that do nothing? Wow, that's Doom's gonna be OP. Now we're gonna test Doomfist's Seismic Slam with Vortex.
Take everything from them.
As you can see with Seismic Slam, Doom doesn't go far at all, which means that one of the best ways to get out of Vortex is gonna be with Punch. Just to show that one more time here how this interaction looks.
Put them in the ground.
As you can see, Doom does not go as far and goes, you know, pretty slow during that too. So that's going to be really, really good against Dooms who are using Seismic Slam. But Punch seems to be a pretty easy way to get out. Now we're going to test to see if Doomfist can punch me out of my ultimate. As you can see, Doom cannot cancel the ultimate. Can push you out of range a little bit, so Doom's able to stay out of the range, but then you can walk right back into Doom and keep doing that damage with the ultimate. As you can see right now, we're able to stay with Doom the whole time.
Your scheming ends now.
You got Junker Queen. With Junker Queen, can Junker Queen use Command and Shout to get out of Vortex easily, or will it still take a little bit of time?
Take everything from them.
As you can see with Command and Shout, Junker Queen does go a lot slower. Obviously, when you get out of the Vortex, Junker Queen goes fast again, but in that circle, Junker Queen will go slow, as well as the teammates that get the benefit of that boost. Now, will Junker Queen's ultimate be slowed when using Rampage through it?
Put them in the
Time for the reckoning.
So it did look like Junker Queen's ultimate was slowed while going through that, so that could allow for you to have some pretty good counterplay sometimes with dropping Vortex when you hear the ultimate. For example, if Junker Queen goes on the ult animation right now,
Time for the reckoning.
yeah, that's not going to work the way I planned it out to be. So we're going to just ignore that part. Can Orisa cancel Annihilation with Javelin? As you can see, Orisa can't cancel the ultimate with Javelin, but it does take Ramattra out of range if you're at this distance. So it gives Orisa an opportunity to be able to get out of there and maybe get out of the 3-second window. How is it when Orisa uses Javelin spin out of the Vortex?
Take everything from them.
As you can see, Orisa goes really slow in the Vortex. They're giving you a little bit of opportunity to get more damage in and not allowing for Orisa to go as far away. Does Fortify completely ignore Vortex?
Put them in the ground.
And as you can see, it does. So if you are able to use your Orisa Gold, you will be able to ignore Vortex and get out of it quickly without the movement penalty. This is Orisa moving around with and without gold. So
Take everything from them.
and here's Orisa with gold.
Devour them.
As you can see, no movement penalty and able to move around, no problem.
My strength returns.
What happens? Okay, you ready? I want you to ult, and then I want you to just do block. Both Ramattra's ulting each other. Ready? So this is what happened when both Ramattra's ult and use their damage reduction. It's gonna take a bit. All right. That's amazing, actually. This is Reinhardt charging through Vortex.
Take everything from them.
As you can see, it slows Rein down a little bit, but Rein is able to get through it pretty quickly. Now we're going to show you what happens when you go to Nemesis form and pummel through Rein's shield. As you can see, I'm damaging through the Rein shield. Am I also damaging the Rein shield during this too? So not only are you able to
The fabled
do damage to the Rein shield, you're also damaging the Rein shield as you do that. Can Reinhardt shatter Ramattra out of their ultimate? As you can see, Ramattra can be shattered, but it does not cancel the ultimate, allowing for you to stay on them and keep the 3 seconds going. Does Vortex slow Roadhog hook?
devour.
Nope. First thing we're going to test here with Sigma is how it looks when you use your ultimate inside of Vortex. Can you fly out of it quickly? As you can see, it definitely slows Sigma down until the Vortex goes away, giving you time to maybe cancel the ultimate or put a lot of damage into Sigma. Can Sigma eat Vortex? As you can see, Sigma can eat Vortex, so that's a good way to counterplay the Vortex a little bit. Does Sigma's shield block Ramattra's ultimate? As you can see, it does. Until you go past the shield, it will actually block the ult. Wow, that's actually a surprise. I did not realize that. Well, we just learned something there. This is what Pummel looks like going to the Nemesis form versus Sigma's shield. As you can see, you can do damage to the shield. And quite a bit of damage, too, at that. It also does damage the shield. All right, there you go. For Winston, we're going to show you what it's like when Winston jumps out of Vortex. That is Winston trying to jump out of Vortex. As you can see, Winston doesn't go really far at all. Now we're going to test Winston's ultimate in Vortex.
Take everything from them.
Can Winston's bubble block Ramattra's ultimate? As you can see, it does until you go in. And then Winston could probably go on the outside of the bubble to get out of it. So Winston can actually bubble off the ult. If you go into the bubble to try and ult them, Winston can then jump out to LOS the ult, and then hopefully that will be the 3 seconds. Can you pummel through bubble? As we've seen with most shields now, yes, you can. This is Wrecking Ball going through Vortex with grapple.
Put them in the crowd.
As you can see, it slows down Wrecking Ball's momentum and almost stops Ball quite a bit. We'll show this one more time. Wrecking Ball going through Vortex with grapple.
Devour them.
As you can see, it slows Wrecking Ball down quite a bit. So it seems to stop most of the momentum. So against Wrecking Ball, Vortex can be pretty good. What happens if you Vortex Wrecking Ball's mines?
Devour them.
It looks like it does do damage to the mines. It just doesn't do enough damage to get rid of them. Can Zarya bubble out of Vortex?
Take everything from them.
As you can see, if Zarya bubbles, Zarya will get out of the Vortex, no problem. Does Zarya bubble prevent Ramatra's ultimate from working?
As I have.
As you can see, 2 bubbles will actually fully stop the ultimate if it's only Zarya in the ult. That also does mean that if you bubble your teammate in the ultimate, it will take the timer off a little bit and give you time to disengage from Ramattra. Does Pummel go through Zarya's bubble?
I will tear victory from your grasp.
So it looks like it's interesting. Do you see what's happening, by the way, with Pummel? Yeah, but you're like, the animation's going, like, it's doing the animation of you taking damage. I don't know if that's supposed to be the interaction, by the way. It seems like it almost was supposed to do damage. We're going to use Vortex with Ashe's Coach Gun.
Put them in the ground.
As you can see, Ashe doesn't go that far back out of Vortex, allowing for you to do damage. When Ramattra ults, does Bob count in the ultimate? As you can see, Bob does count, so if you need to keep the ultimate going, you can tank a little bit of Bob damage and also keep the ult going. Does do a good amount of damage, but you are able to survive Bob during that if it's just Bob in there. What happens when Bob runs through Vortex? It looks like Bob is still pretty quick through the ultimate.
I will give you shelter.
Get rolled by Bob. Thankfully, I remembered I had a shield. Does change in forms cleanse dynamite?
Hey, catch!
Now do you see your error?
It does not. All right. Like how you missed.
One falls.
Can you block all of Bastion ult with Ramattra block? Can you block Bastion's ult with Ramattra's block?
Now do you see your error?
Yes. You can reduce the damage and survive it. Or can you survive the high noon?
Now do you see your error?
Yes. This is Echo flying out of Vortex.
Devour them.
As you can see, it slows Echo down a bit, flying out of there, but Echo will get out of it. How high does Vortex go?
Put them in the ground.
How low does Echo have to be to get into the
Them in
Vortex?
the ground.
As you can see, Echo has to be pretty close to the animation to be able to get into there. So Echo can fly above the Vortex and not get sucked into it. All right, this is Genji dashing out of Vortex.
Take everything from them.
As you can see, Genji can dash pretty easily out of Vortex, so if Genji is in there, Genji will dash in. But if Genji dashes into your team after, that's going to be good for your team. Can Genji deflect Vortex?
Devour
As you can see, Genji can deflect Vortex. Does Vortex slow Genji's wall climb?
Devour them.
So it looks like you're able to climb up the wall, but then it starts to bring you down a little bit onto the ground. It pulls you down.
Put them in the ground.
It seems that based off of if the wall doesn't go too high up, Genji will be pulled down pretty quickly. But if the wall is high, Genji's able to climb up a bit higher before being pulled down. Can Hanzo leap out of Vortex?
Devour them.
Nope. Hanzo cannot leap out of Vortex. Can Ramattra tank all of Hanzo's ultimate with block? Yes, Ramattra can. Can Junkrat mine out of Vortex?
Take everything from them.
As you can see, the mine only has Junkrat go a little bit forward out of it. Does Vortex slow Junkrat tire?
Put them in the ground.
Vortex does slow down Junkrat tire, so it gives you opportunity for your team to follow up and be able to get the tire. Can you pummel through Maywall?
Now do you see your error?
As you can see, I was not doing any damage to the Mei, so you cannot pummel through the Mei wall. You will do damage to the Mei wall, but you not damage someone behind the Mei wall. Is Mei in Ramattra's ultimate when ice blocked? As you can see, ice block does stop the ult, and more than enough time to be able to not stay in the ultimate. Does Mei wall block Ramattra's ultimate?
As I have.
Mei wall does block Ramattra's ultimate. You'll need to get to the other side of the wall to be able to help with that. Or wait for it to go down. Does Ramatra's shield fall down when Mei wall drops?
Try climbing that.
It does not. The shield will stay up in that location. What happens when Pharah flies out of Vortex?
Devour them.
As you can see, it takes quite a bit to get out of there, and you should easily be able to do damage to Pharah. There you go. How high does Pharah need to go to get out of Ramatra's ultimate?
Suffer as I have.
I'm just gonna go with that. I'm not even gonna explain it. You can just see. What happens if you time your Vortex with Pharah's flight into the air?
Take everything from them.
As you can see, Pharah will be pulled down immediately. That's a cool interaction. How low to the ground does Pharah have to be to get into Vortex?
Devour them.
So as you can see, Pharah does need to be fairly low to be able to get into that Vortex. Is Reaper's Fade slowed inside of Vortex?
Put them in the ground.
Reaper's Fade is not. Does Vortex slow Reaper's ultimate?
Take everything.
As you can see, Reaper is much slower in the Vortex. This is Sojourn sliding out of Vortex. As you can see, Sojourn's slide is slowed down, but Sojourn is still able to get pretty far out of that. This is Sojourn sliding into Vortex.
Put them in the ground.
As you can see, it completely slows Sojourn as they go into it. So basically, if you slide into it, you just get slowed. Soldier 76 sprinting in Vortex.
Devour them.
It slows Soldier down quite a bit. Soldier is still able to get out of it, but that should give you enough time to be able to do a good amount of damage. Can Sombra hack you out of your ultimate? As you can see, Sombra cannot hack Ramattra out of their ultimate. Does Ramatra's ultimate pull Sombra out of stealth?
Suffer as I have.
It does not, up until you run into the Sombra.
Should have kept your distance.
So it doesn't. Actually, that's cool. Does Vortex take Sombra out of stealth?
Take everything from them.
It does. If you put Vortex in the middle of Sim's ultimate, does it do damage on both sides?
Put them in the ground.
It does not. This is Torb overloaded in Vortex.
Devour them.
As you can see, Torb is slowed. Can you survive Torb's ultimate with Ramatra's block?
Your miscalculations will cost you.
As you can see, you can stand in the ultimate and take a lot of damage up until you're out of the form. So what that means is that if you're in Ramatra's ultimate, where you can have power block up the whole time, if everybody's around you, you can survive it. If not, make sure to get out of it in time.
Finally.
Does Torb turret count towards Annihilation?
Suffer as I have.
As you can see, Torb turret does not.
Enemy turret destroyed.
This is Tracer blinking through Vortex.
Put them in the ground.
It does slow the initial blink, even if you blink through it.
Take everything from them.
As you can see, you can double blink through it. If you do one blink, it will probably slow you towards the end of it. But when you double blink, you're able to go right through the Vortex. Can Widow grapple out of Vortex?
Put them in the ground.
Widow can grapple out of Vortex. It looks like initially it will be a bit slow, but Widow can grapple out of Vortex. And yes, you can get the Venom Mine with Vortex. I had to put that one in there. Just a couple things with Ana here. Ana cannot sleep you out of the ultimate, and you can't switch forms to be able to get rid of the anti-nade. Okay, perfect. What happens when Bap jumps in Vortex?
Take everything from them.
Bap cannot jump in Vortex. Can you pummel through Brig Shield? Yes, you can. Does Brig Shield block Ramatra's ultimate? Annihilation. Brig Shield does block the ultimate. What happens when Kiriko uses Suzu in Vortex?
Put them in the ground.
As you see, when Kiriko uses Suzu, Kiriko's able to get out of Vortex, not be slowed, and take no damage. This is Lucio using Speed Boost in Vortex.
Take everything from them.
Lucio is slowed down, and then the moment Lucio's out of Vortex, obviously back to normal speed there. This is Lucio wall riding in Vortex.
Put them in the ground.
Lucio can't wall ride in Vortex. Can Mercy Guardian Angel out of Vortex?
Put them in the ground.
As you can see, if Mercy does hold Guardian Angel going out of the Vortex, Mercy is able to get out. If Mercy doesn't, Mercy will be stuck in the Vortex. An example of this would be like this.
Devour them.
As you can see, Mercy can't unless you hold Guardian Angel down. Sound good? Can you fade out of Vortex?
Devour them.
Absolutely. Zen. No, come here. We just need Zen. It's just Zen. Come on, hurry. Come on. Is Zenyatta's ultimate slowed down in Vortex?
Put them in the ground.
Into the iris.
It is slowed down in Vortex. Oh, wait. Is it not? Is Zenyatta's ultimate slowed down in Vortex?
Into the iris.
It does slow Zenyatta's ultimate down. Zenyatta's ultimate is fast, but it slows it down enough. Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, no, you're just standing there. Oh, come on!